Alright, so in this tutorial, which is not a lab, this isn't due, I'm just doing this as like an extra thing that might be good for you to do. You should continue work on your game that's going to be due in a couple weeks, okay? So this is just like an extra thing. Alright, so what we're going to do though is I'm basically going to make a portfolio holder, if you will, okay? So it's going to be like a web page that you could upload somewhere and then you would be able to display it, alright? So what we're going to do is file new. Alright. We're going to do HTML5 canvas, and then you need to basically determine a size that you want to do. So, the problem is that everybody's resolution is different as far as their monitors are concerned. So, kind of have to take that into account. I'm going to go with 1280 by 1080. 1080. We'll go with that. And we will create. Okay? So HTML5 canvas, and then if I back this thing up, boom, this is going to be our web page. Okay, so the first thing we're going to need when we're making, well, actually, first thing I want to do is I don't like the white in the back, so I'm just going to go ahead and just do like, I like the darker stuff. Just dark's kind of what's currently in trend, so wait 10 years and it'll probably be, glittery pink or something. But right now, darker colors typically are what people are doing. If you look at any of these apps, like 10 years ago, and basically they would all be white, but now they are all dark gray. So it's kind of the standard that we're going with. But anyway, so what I want to do is I want to make a nav bar. So, a lot of times when we've been making things, and when you make things all the time, you're always taking the aesthetics into account, right? You care about how it looks, how it makes, what the implicit meaning is, what you're explicitly saying. You're applying art elements and design principles. You're applying the color scheme and font and all these other things. And that's important, and you want, that's what's going to make it look good. But one of the things is when you are making something that is functional, so be it a website or an app or something that a person is going to have to interact with, usability is king. It's above even aesthetics. There are a lot of sites that I could probably show you, fewer than there used to be, believe it or not, but there were a ton that you look at them and they were beautiful, but they were hard to navigate because basically they were navigating in a way that just wasn't standard. Like they would have like a weird, like the menu wasn't the same as other menus, and like there was some, like I seen where they had like things that were floating. It was like an array, and you had to like and click on it, right? And that took a lot of ability to be able to code something like that, but it made it difficult to interact with, and it wasn't what you were used to. So what you're going to notice is that when you look at websites, and that's what we're going to make. We're going to make a web page, but it would stand in as a portfolio that you could email to somebody or upload to a website, or use an FTP to upload. Maybe I'll cover that too, but you could upload it. 99% of them, they're going to have a horizontal bar, a horizontal nav bar, and that's going to be the main thing you're going to see. And that's like the primary items. Look at my website. You can look at almost any other website. That's what's on the top. Some of them have vertical nav bars. And generally speaking, that's usually a secondary one. And the reason why they'll include those is because a horizontal one can only hold so many items, A vertical one, because it goes this way, can hold a lot of items. So typically, if a website does have both, they usually won't rely only on the vertical. If they have just the top one will be like the main thing. So think of like Amazon, right? Like their main things you can go to are there. But if you're looking at the products and such, you will see on the vertical nav bar is a whole bunch. Usually it's filters or it's like different options and things like that. And you can look at most websites that deal with a lot of content will have also that vertical nav bar. But typically the main one is that horizontal. And occasionally they'll have a footer that's in the header. Sometimes they'll have also navigation in the footer. But usually it's like legalese and things like that. You can go to most websites. If you go all the way down, it'll have like extra things that most people don't need to get to, but it's like just a way of finding things not as useful. So what we're going to do is we're just going to make a vertical one here and kind of go from there. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to leave this. Actually, let's rename this. We'll just use the one that's here. We'll call it Nav Bar. So the way we're going to do this is that we're going to make multiple pages, and each page is going to have something that we've done in this class, as well as maybe some other stuff. Okay, that's the idea. All right. So I need to make a nav bar. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this rectangle tool here, and I'm going to take my fill, and I'm going to make it white, and make sure it's all the way 100%. And I'm going to do no stroke, and I am just going to draw a block that goes, it's kind of thick. We'll go like that. Okay, so that'll be my vertical nav bar. Woohoo! Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab it. Just grab the select tool, select this. I'm going to hit F8 or modify convert to symbol. And we are going to call this nav bar underscore MC. Okay. And then I'm going to open this up. And then we're going to build our nav bar in here. So I'm going to call this one background. That's the background of my nav bar. And I'm going to make another layer, and we'll call this one buttons. And I'm basically going to make buttons for my nav bar here. All right, so to do that, I'm going to grab this, and I'm going to go ahead, and I'm going to take my fill, and I'm just going to do a darker gray. Now, all of this is up to you. You can totally change these around. You might want to just do what I'm doing, and then afterwards fit it for what you want. So I'm going to do a little bit of a darker gray, and I'm just going to draw, and I'm going to make 4 buttons. I'm going to make one, and then we'll use that as a guide to make the other ones. Okay, we'll call that a button. All right, and I'm just going to make sure, Control++, and let's see, I should be able to pull it up. It should have snapping on, right? Yep, good. Okay, that looks good. I think that's acceptable. Let's back this up. Okay, yep, so I'm going to take that, and I'm just going to go ahead and hit F8, and we'll just call this nav button underscore BTN. And instead of a movie clip, we're going to go ahead and make it a button, because this is actually going to be a button. All right, so that'll be called nav button. Now what I'm going to do is select this and hold Alt to select to move it across, and Shift to keep it straight, and Alt and Shift again I'm holding and pulling it over. Alt and Shift again I'm holding and snap it over. Great. Okay, so I'm just going to have 4 buttons here that you can see. Now I'd like these to be straight, so I'm going to do is select them all, and then I'm just going to go to modify, and then you'll see a line, and then basically you can use this to try to center things. So let's do horizontal center. Oops, that did all of them. Can I undo that? There we go. Maybe I can just grab, I'm just going to eyeball it, I think. Go with it like that. Okay, so that'll be our buttons. Now let's go ahead and do text, Control+. And on this one, actually on the buttons, I'm going to change, well, I'm going to leave them like this for right now. Okay, so I want to put what each one of these are going to be. So I was thinking for each one, we would just do each one of the projects that we've done, right? So we have an animation, we have the narration, interactive comic, and then we have the game, right? So is that all we did? I think that's all we did. Anyway, so we're going to basically put each one of those on here, and then the last one we'll just call like resume, okay? So let's just go ahead and on here, I'm just going to go ahead and grab the text tool. Okay, go ahead and grab the text, make sure on the text layer, and I'm going to draw a little box. We'll do it like this, and we will call this animations, or animation. Just extend this a little bit. Well, actually it needs to be about that size, I think. And then with this, I'm just going to go ahead and change some of the sizing of everything. So let's do like 18, and let's change the fill color to, I guess, dark gray. And then I'm just going to leave it as this font. It's not my favorite font, but I just don't feel like spending a million years on it. So, and let's just go ahead and pull this up. Okay, we'll call that good. So there's one. I'm going to take this guy and stick it up here, so it's roughly in the middle. And I'm just going to hold Alt and click and drag this over here. Good. Oops, no, a little bit over. There we go. And oops, I held Alt. Try to center. Okay. And I'm just going to double click on it so I can get in here. So we did animation, then we did interactive, I guess we'll call it, just so that it's small as a fit. I'm just going to hold Alt and drag that over. Great. Double click on that one. And we'll call this one game. Click back on the select tool, Alt. And then we'll just go here. And I will call this resume. Okay, great. Okay, so now we've got that there, and then I just need to bring in a logo, so you can bring in whatever you want for a logo. I'm just going to file import to stage, and actually grabbed my logo for something else before, so I'm just going to, yeah, right here. I'm just going to open that up. There we go. Take this, and put this guy right in the center. Hit Q and hold Shift, and I'm just going to put him right here. That looks good. Okay, so that's all fine and dandy, but the buttons themselves could use a little bit more interactivity. So I'm just going to grab. So the reason why I did it, I put that on to add, doesn't matter. We'll just put. I'm just going to change the text graphics. Put them both on there. Okay. The reason why I did these as separate is that way what I can do is I can adjust one button instead of making a button for each one. They'll all just use the same button graphic, and then the text won't change, but it'll be fine. So with that selected, I'm going to go ahead, and we got up. Looks like this. But what I wanted to actually happen is actually have it be white, so it's the same color as the background. And then we're going to go over here. I'm going to hit F6. And then on over, I thought I hit F6. I'm going to say F5. F6. Make sure I select it. And then on hover, we'll have it be maybe a little bit darker. And then on down, I'm going to hit F6 again here. Click on it. And when it's down, we'll just have it get one shade darker. Okay. So basically, if we were to run this at this point, and it's over here, but okay, come on, there we go. You can see if we hover over them, you can see basically they have the thing, and if we push them down, a little bit darker. But it's nice and clean. I gotta make this border go out a little bit farther, but it's pretty clean. Looks like a menu. And I could have this actually be a button as well. Probably we'll do that too. Let's do that real quick as well. So I'm just going to back to Nav Bar. I was inside of this guy. I'm just going to select this, hit F8, and we'll just call this home button underscore BTN. And I'm not going to do anything with it beyond that. That'll just be my home button. And I'm going to call that good for my Nav Bar. I think that looks acceptable. Okay, so we'll back up to here. Make sure I'm back on the timeline. All right, good. So, yeah. So basically, what I'm going to need, I'm actually going to grab this too, just because I think hopefully this will work. I'm going to do a drop shadow on this, just to give it a little bit of a pizzazz, if you will. And let's do, I want to take the strength down a bit, and let's do more distance, like that, and then we'll just blur it out more too. Just so it gets a little bit of a 3D effect, right? Okay, so we're going to call that good as far as my Nav Bar is concerned. I've got the graphics there. So the rest that I need to do, basically, is make each of my page. And we're actually going to do it exactly the same way as we did the motion graphic. It's actually going to be a little bit simpler, but we're going to change little things about it. Nothing too crazy, okay? So we need a home page. So this would be my home page. Let's go ahead and just make a new layer, and we'll just call this one Pages. Okay, And so this first page would be my home page, and I don't really have anything for it, but you would maybe put a picture in here. Maybe I'll put a picture in here. Let's do that. So we'll file. Maybe you have some sort of picture or something else you want to. Let's see what I have. I have something fun in here that I've drawn. Let's see. Got all these stupid drawings I've done of dumb things. This is the current one, so we'll grab this, and then I'm just going to hit Q and hold Shift, and we'll just go like that, and then we'll just put like we'll put some text in here, like so, and I will just say, and let's do black again, and let's make this much bigger. Let's try 48, and I'll say, welcome to. We'll just say welcome. That looks fine. Okay. Click back off, and we'll say something like that. All right. So imagine I did a nice job. It's kind of hard, but just picture it in your mind's eye. All right. So we'll say that that's my home page. That's fine. Now what I need to do basically is make all the subpages. So I'm going to have my home page, and then I have 1, 2, 3, 4 pages. Okay. So this will be page 1. So then 4 after that would be 5. So what I'm going to do is on the nav bar, I'm just going to hit F5 here, or you right click and just do insert frame. Because the nav bar, I just want to hold the whole time. That's always going to be there on every single frame. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make one for each one of these. So I'm going to zoom in by clicking on this, just to make it a little bit easier to work with. Basically, I just need to make a new one here. So I'm just going to go ahead and insert a blank frame, insert blank keyframe. And then right here, insert blank keyframe. And here, insert blank keyframe, and here, insert blank keyframe, okay? And maybe what we'll do after that is we'll grab this, and I'm just going to go ahead and copy this. So we'll Control-C, select that, Control-C, go here, Control-Shift-V, so it pastes in place, and we'll just go ahead and rename this. We'll call this Animation. All right, let's click off, and let's go to the next one, Control-Shift-V. Double click on this guy, and this will be interactive. Okay, there. Control Shift V, and game, and then we'll go here and Control Shift V, and call this one resume. Stupid thing. Resume. Alright, good. So now we got a title on each one, and that works fine. So what I'm going to do next is stuff that we already know. I mean, most of this you already know anyway. Just kind of doing. I'm going to add a little bit of stuff that you don't know, but for the most part, this should be stuff that's all familiar. I'm just going to go ahead and basically on each one of the buttons, I'm going to make it so it just goes to the next frame, so on and so forth. Okay. So, yeah, so what we're going to do is I'm going to select this, and then we're going to go to modify, or I'm sorry, we're going to hit F9, or you go to Window, Actions, okay, and what I'm going to do is double click that, select the, make sure you get the button. I'm going to lock the text graphics, and I'm going to lock the button, or the background. There we go. I'm going to select this button, and with that selected, I'm just going to go ahead and hit this. And we are going to go to HTML5 Canvas, Timeline Navigation, and actually, before we even do this, I forgot to do one other thing. Sorry. Let's close that out. I want to, instead of using frame numbers, I'm going to go ahead and label each one of these frames. So I'm going to click on the first frame. And for the label, I'll call this one Home. On the second one, we'll call this Animation. Probably see where we're going with this. This one will be Interactive. This one will be Game. And then the last one will be Resume. Okay. Great. Okay. Now let's go back here. Okay. so I'm select this. We'll have 9. Bring up that. Hit the code snippets and timeline navigation. We're going to go ahead and we're going to go to click to go to frame and stop. Okay. I don't know why mine's not working. I can't double click for some reason. Got it selected, right? Right click, add to frame. Oh, whoops. Got to make sure we add instance names for these. So we'll call this animation. Let's call it nav anim. Yeah, we'll call it nav anim. Select this one, and then we'll call this nav int. Nav gam. Everybody likes them gams. Okay. And nav res. Okay, there we go. Sorry. Okay, so let's grab the animation one again. Select this. Actually, we'll do that one. So click to go to frame stop. I'm just going to right click, add to frame. And it's going to say this dot go to and stop. And I'm just going to change this instead of go to and stop 5. We're going to say animation because that was the name of the frame. And let's see if that works. I'm a little bit worried that that's in a higher end, so we actually might need to cut that out. So here we go. I'm just going to show this real quick. So I forgot to do one other thing. I don't know if anybody else noticed it, but I forgot to tell it to stop because right now it's just playing through it all the way through constantly. So we need to go ahead and fix that. Also, the shadow thing did something interesting where it added shadows to the text, which makes no sense. So we're going to trash that. Not a fan of that. All right. So I have got to, on the top of the scene here, it doesn't really matter where we apply it. We just want to stop at this frame. Oh, make sure you go to the first frame. Stop at this frame. Okay, and I'm going to get rid of the extra gobbledygook. So just make sure that you're in the uppermost scene. Stop at this frame. Okay, now we can test it. Because otherwise it was just playing through, and that's no good. Okay. And here we go. And if I click on this, that's what I was afraid of. So it's not going to the animation tab, and the reason for that is basically because it's inside of the other object. So what it's doing is it's trying to go to frame animation, which that doesn't exist here. So what I'm going to do is grab my buttons here. So just click off, grab buttons. Just hit Control X. Sorry, we got to do this. Select the text graphics and buttons, then do Control X to grab those. Back up. I'm going to make a new layer, and we'll just call this one button text. And then I'm going to do Control Shift V, and we'll just put this centered like so. Okay. Now it should theoretically work. I was hoping I could just keep them nested, but I'd have to back up and then do that, but I think that's a little more confusing, so we're just going to go ahead and do it this way. Oh, that's super. So when I do go to preview this, it actually doesn't work, and the reason why is you're going to see it's going to be dark gray. And the reason why is that we removed these buttons, but what we didn't do, I'm going to go back to my nav bar, I'm inside the nav bar, is I didn't get rid of the actions here. So I'm just going to go ahead and trash on those. And now when we preview them, it'll work. But that means also I got to remake the actions that I just did. So we're going to go ahead, I'm going to select this animation button here. I'm going to hit F9, and we'll just go ahead and make these real quick. Hit the code snippets. HTML5 canvas, timeline navigation, click to go to frame and stop, double click, or add to frame. Oh, they lost all their. Alright, let's do this real quick. Except not quick because we have to do it 12 times over. Nav anim. Oh no, it did have it. I had the stupid text selected. Sorry. Never mind. Okay. I thought they lost their stuff there, but they did not. It's just being fun. Okay. So make sure you have the button, not the text selected. Timeline. Okay. Click to go to frame. There we go. Okay. I'm gonna get rid of this extra bits here, and we're not gonna say. We're going to click here and have it go down there for some reason. We're going to say animation, right? So now when I go to preview it, it's going to this.go to frame and stop on animation, and it's going to pop over off screen again. Okay. Bring it over here, and now when I click on animation, you can see it doesn't go. So everything's working out great. Okay. Let's see. Is it not called animation? Animation. That's great. Okay. And we have this selected. And okay, actions. And oh, sorry, I didn't put in quotes. Should be animation. Okay. This is why it's good to, as you keep going, you want to test it constantly to make sure that that you're testing it, because otherwise I would write all of it and then none of it would work, and I would wonder why. There you go. So now it's going to animation. Okay. So I just need to do the same thing for the rest of them. So I'm just going to grab this one's button. Again, make sure you don't grab the text. See, I clicked down here and it still selected the text. That's pretty cool. All right. So we're going to right click on this, add to frame, and we'll get rid of. Oops. Apparently I'm on frame 2, so I'm going to undo that. I didn't see it switch to frame 2 on me. Undo, maybe? No? Okay. Undo doesn't work today, so we're going to delete that. Actually, we're going to undo. It just doesn't seem to care. Okay. So we will clear the keyframe. There we go. So make sure I'm frame 1 and do it. I don't know. It's doing its own thing. Okay. Click on that. On frame 1. Add to frame. Alright, and we want this one. When we click on it, it's going to go to interactive inside of quotes. Okay, and we'll do the next one. Good. Right click, add to frame. Remove all the extra gobbledygook. And this one's going to go to game inside of quotes. And then we'll do the last one. Get out of here. Boom. Right click, add to frame. Okay, and this one will go to resume. Okay. And now, if we go to preview it, and it pops off the side here. Great. Okay. And now, if I click on animation, it's going to go to animation, interactive, and you can go to any one of them, and it works just like any other website. Except for some reason, even though it's the same button as the rest of these, this one's stuck on. No, that doesn't make any sense. But anyway, right? So you can kind of see how it's going. So this is getting a little bit long. So in the next video, what I'm going to do is I'm just basically going to insert the content. Hopefully you get an idea of, this is how you would make a website. So if you're trying to do it in here, hopefully a little bit smoother and without the resume thing for some reason sticking. Okay.